I can't believe that I'm here early as I scheduled it for the time. So I think like we are a few minutes too early for today's live stream, but I'm about to run an errand. So this is like a perfect time before I go out and just like share what I have in mind. I feel terrible because I think like yesterday, because of that cat, that stranger cat that stuck on my roof, I was shooing away, and I think like I did it too late, so it got away when it's already dark, and I don't know if the cat find its way home, or like maybe it's still stuck somewhere else. I don't know. And I feel terrible because I don't know who is the owner. I don't know where is that cat right now. And I'm like, this is like the feeling that I got when I was first starting to uh, set, what do you call it? Like set the promise to keep my cat. Because I have numerous of times before I establish that commitment, I have many other opportunities, many previous opportunities about, okay, we can take care of this cat, we can take care of this cat, I want to own this cat and all that stuff, but it never stick. The cat was just a stray one, and it it lives on the street, and it never get into the house, and my parents never been that person, and I also not the person who want to take care of them in the first place. So I just like feed them outside, and I let my life be my life. And then it got to a point where I just want something to pet, because it's like helping my nervous system calming itself. My God, I feel like I'm crying. But then at first, the first two cats, which is like the sibling of this cat, it went missing, and I'm like, I don't know where it went, and I'm like, this is feel heavy. The feeling was so heavy that I can't contain myself. I'm just like thinking all sort of negative stuff, and I'm like, ah, this is one of the things that when you set your, what do you call it, purpose, standard, whatever it is that you want, to the level of insistent that you cannot not have it, and you just forcing yourself that it cannot go in the wrong way, and when it does, it hits you like a freaking bullet. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to look. And but later on, that cat is actually got home and by himself. But to but when its condition already battered like freaking stray cat, and I don't know what it happened to this cat. Well, for the most part, that cat is a male, and when you have a male cat, they sometimes hunt for the female. And because this house is um, protected by the female sibling, Mary, and that cat just went away, go somewhere else, find the mate, and all that stuff. I saw him find someone, find some other people's cat to mate with, but I feel like that cat was just owned by some house, and eventually that cat, my cat, was battered from that experience, and I don't know why it never go home in the first place. But when it actually stay in the house, it's already like really terrible, in the terrible condition, and I can't help it. And eventually I give up too early, and then it just died by its own. That's my part. That's my fault to begin with. But I can like care for it when it decided to stay home, but I didn't. So the timing doesn't match to, and also like I don't know, the relationship between me and the cat is just so off that I decided to never commit it back to caring for this cat, but eventually that's the story. And so I have the feeling, the same feeling, like I am losing, I'm missing my real cat, my own cat, which is weird because this is like when you set a commitment on something and that thing never up to your standard, when something just related to it, even though like it's not my own, it's like becoming mine. And I feel so terrible about it. And I don't know how it happened, how for that cat and for the owner of that cat. But yeah, I just feel terrible. So here's the thing. Sometimes you need to be a villain in someone else's story. And this time I'm like a villain in that cat story and also like the owners of that cat. And I'm like, I wish like I didn't have to, but this is terrible. Like I'm like literally in the brink of crying. But what happened is when you well there is a lot of possibility of why it happened that way. And I can honestly say that part of myself was in the situation where I can't welcome the cat. Oh my god. Can't believe I'm crying on stream. Like I was not in the place to welcome any stranger cat calmly. So my response to it when the cat got into my space was really what do you call it? Aggressive. It was really territorial and I just like sometimes I just shoo it away and the cat know where to go. And even though like there is a cat on the way out, sometimes it just like rush out because I feel like that cat was already older or maybe like they are smarter. But I also thought like the personality of the cat matter because then it doesn't matter what I do. It just like know where to go. But then this cat was just like in my house suddenly, and I'm shooing it away, and then it got into the rooftop, and it stayed there, and then it rained, and I'm like, oh shit. I don't think like this cat know how to get out, so I need to force it to get out, and I did like shooing it more aggressively, and it did went away, but it's already like too late of the day, so I don't know like so that's also like one of the things. It can be also the personality itself, like it's still young and also like doesn't know what to do. But also yeah, sometimes it doesn't it's never been happening this way and I'm just like freaking out to a point that I can't contain myself. Oh, and what I want to share is that now it happened and there's nothing that we can do and sometimes and also like I don't know how to call that cat because sometimes the owner has some names and I also have names for my own cat. So sometimes my cat would not respond to other names that being called other than the name that I usually call. So yeah, that's also like one of the things. And when you are in state of your uh when you sometimes in life when you decide on doing certain stuff, doing you set on a decision and it just happened that way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And because now I'm like overthinking, like maybe we can do it differently so that it doesn't freak the cat out. So it doesn't happen that way again. And when you are in this kind of state, deep in your emotions, sometimes as a human, you kind of like set this stone for change. And you can do that if that's like what you want. But in my case, I'm like, one of the things that I want to change the most is that how I take decision these days. And this is one of those moments where I realized that I didn't, it's funny to say it this way, I didn't do enough good job to take something to be so not abrasive as this. But at one point, I just like, it become a catalyst to my own change. And one of the things why I set the gray color of this video is that because I knew at one point I would cry, but I didn't think I would cry over a cat. And it was not my cat, it was someone else's cat. But yeah. Sometimes it can be a catalyst for someone. And when you still deep in your emotion and you cannot find any advice that can steer you away from this really heavy momentum, because this is like emotional momentum where I'm like really deep in my own shit and I'm like, maybe we can do better. So it's beneficial if you are in this journey of changing yourself, but also like if you are not in a term of changing yourself, sometimes you get someone else to say something that really took you out of the incident, moment, situation, and you're just like completely out of it. Just like what I did couple live stream, the last couple of live stream, because I'm just like, I know this is the thing that I usually do, and this is not something I want to change. So I'm just gonna take myself out of the situation and see that the situation as the situation, as the moment. It's nothing more than there's nothing that I need to change about myself. So you can do that, but sometimes you have parts of yourself that you want to change and you are stuck in the moment. So no matter what you do, no matter what anyone else's do to you, whatever they give you, you're just like stuck there. And it becomes something like, I don't want this to happen ever again. And eventually you decided to take a different route for the next moment. If some cat or something happened in a similar way, maybe do it calmly, maybe like be much more responsive, better responsive, a better response to the situation. That's also one of the key. And I think like when someone have this type of moment, someone out there would eventually give an advice, but the person can't take the advice in because it was not the time and place and space for this person to take that advice, because it's just so important. Just like how I set myself into two things that is so important in my life right now is that my cat and then my business. If someone out there have a different way, have a different advice on how I need to take care of them, like just throw your cat away if you're having a hard time. That's not an option, because I've decided that I would take my cat, I would take care of my cat no matter how long it takes for me, maybe until they are dead by itself. But yeah, I won't take myself out of the situation where I can't care for my cat or I can't do my business. It was not an option because I have set the commitment. But also there are parts where you have systemize your nervous system in such a way that you cannot let other things to take control upon your situation. Meaning that I have been so aggressive in my action, and it shows in how I protect my cats and all that stuff, protect my space, protect myself. I was so aggressive that it just come as a natural thing for me to show it that way. I don't need to, but it just showing that way. So one of the things that this is also like one of the situation in the bloody game where someone was actually protecting something, and because they are so in that zone, they are haven't completely out of the, what do you call it, uh switch, you're not completely switch off from your natural rhythm. You still become so aggressive even though like the thing that you protected has been smashed. Because one of the event in the bloody games is that someone will invade a house and you need to protect the somewhat key that would switch the team in the team of player. So there are player that protected the house. There is also a team to invade the house. When the key got smashed, which is the key that protected by the people in the house, and being smashed by the people who invaded, then the team will switch the living situation. And because this person who protected the key, the last key, was actually got smashed, well, actually smashed the key by the invader, and eventually, like, he hasn't switched off, so the protective system is still on, and he got so aggressive, and it become one of the legendary scene of the TV show. That's also like one of the key. So there are sometimes a switch off that you can completely took over. Oh, but no, it's not the word. There is a switch off that you can. There is a switch that you can put off, but then you also need some catalyst in order to have that switch turn off permanently or respectively. But then this catalyst is somewhat like this. You have something that is so important to you that it doesn't go as well as you thought, and eventually you are in the brink of like, I did something bad, I didn't protect what I need to protect, and then you just change. But then you cannot change in such an emotional way. You still need to level down your emotional state in a way that you are sane. You can like focus on some of the objective thing of the story rather than just an emotional part and subjective part of the story. So the objective part is that I can be someone who can control my level of aggressiveness. Doesn't need to be that much. And also like take the action a lot earlier so the cat can get home much sooner. Well, there's no rain and there is still dry. Maybe we can do that. That's like the most objective way to see the situation. Now, that in itself is like the catalyst to change the overall system. It's not nice to be in the situation, but if you can like use whatever situation you're in to your greatest advantage, then it will do you good no matter what. And also like I become such a villain in this story, knowing that it can go different way according to the people that is involved. Me, my cat, and also the cat that is visiting, the intruder cat, and also like the owner cat, the owner of that intruder cat. So there are so many other things that can play a role, and I don't need to be the person who have full responsibility upon all of these moments. But I do have some parts that I can do differently, and that's the part that I want to change. So it's such a complex idea because then the process become much longer than just knowing what the story, knowing what the pattern, knowing what is your system when the story happened, knowing what what were the options available to you and all that stuff. It takes a while actually run it down into a moment where, oh, I can change it this way, I can own it this way, and it happened this way. It's like when you start ordering everything in place, it will take you a while because there are so many other different skills that you need to learn in order to make this thing happen. So I don't know what feeling you are in your story, but if you are, take your time. Sometimes it's not your fault, sometimes it is your fault, kind of your fault, but also like if it is your fault, know what is that, what is the fact, not just like your subjective or emotional fact about it. That's what I'm here to say. And also like I usually I have this ring because when I was like having a really hard time grounding myself, I used this ring and I wore it in my thumb like this. But lately, I feel a lot comfortable putting it in my index finger for some reason. So there is some psychological and also energetic component to that. First is that I don't really need some grounding method anymore. I just need something that um I can make a decision much faster, and this is why I put it in my index finger more often, because that part of me is something that is needs some working, some maintenance. So yeah, it's one of the story that sometimes you choose something and then you do it differently. This is one of that. A ring that can help you ground or cattle or anchor the changes that you want to make. For me, because I don't necessarily use anyone to help me ground whatever catalyst I have, I use this ring as the gateway to that change. And I have changed how I ground myself when I was doing it like this. I have successfully make the effort to anchor more grounding system in my own life. And then I'm like this. And now it's like this because I want to master the idea of decision making and swiftness of it. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. I can't believe I'm crying on stream. So yeah, this is probably too heavy for you to look at if you are not available emotionally, because someone crying is too heavy for some other people. I understand that. And that's also why I don't want to be seeing the redness in my face, because that's also one of the key why I put it in the gray scale like this. So yeah. And